I went to the dentist last week and it was surreal, the amount of stuff he had to do. Last time I went to the dentist, you walk in, there's a bunch of people in the lobby and get a cup of coffee, and now it's a temperature check. They're in full surgical garb and you wear a mask. So world has changed a little bit since the last time I went 6 months ago. Next, recognition of Mr. Kindred. As some of you know, he passed away recently. I know during these times we couldn't have a big funeral, but we did lower the flags, all the city flags. Collins of Colonel Kindred is a longtime Smithville community leader and businessman who was a fourth-generation Smithville resident. I know he's got a few other generations still here. He graduated from Smithville High School in 1939. I think he was in the same class as Cynthia, probably, where he was an Eagle Scout and class president as a member of all the alumni, member of the Alumni Wall of Fame. He graduated from the University of Missouri with a degree in business administration. He was a U.S. Army World War II veteran, serving in Patton's Third Army, fighting across France and Germany. In the infantry as a rifleman and mortarman, the recipient of the Purple Heart. After the war, he came back to Smithville to join his father, C.C. Kindred, working at the family business Kindred Chevrolet in Oldsmobile, which is located in downtown Smithville. The building's still there today. You can go and see some of those places where he would bring cars in. There's carvings on the wall around the corner of the Temple building. Pretty cool to talk to Colonel when I got the chances to. Colonel took over the dealership in the late 40s and became the longest family-owned dealership in the state at 97 years. After the flood of 65, Colonel Kindred rallied support for the U.S. Corps of Engineers to construct Smithville Lake and its dam. Colonel worked hard to support Smithville Historic Society as well as other community organizations and passed away at 99 years of age on April 29th, 2020. I, Damian Boley, Mayor of the City of Smithville, urge our citizens to join me in recognizing the valuable contributions made by Collins F. Colonel Kindred and remember him as a valued businessman and citizen of Smithville. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Clerk Linda, you get everything there that you needed? First and second. Okay. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda say aye.
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 All opposed say no. Consent agenda is approved. Next is the Planning and Zoning Commission report. I hope all of you got a chance to watch it, but as usual, Alderman Server, you're on the spot to report out on what happened.
Yes, we recommended rezoning 8 acres at 18601 North Highway 169 from RB1 to B3, RB1, B3 to B2. And also we recommended approval of final plat for the Herzog Foundation at that location.
How many building permits?
I don't remember us talking about that, Jack.
Jack's on mute.
Yeah, I do not have that data right now either. I apologize.
Jack, for the next meeting, I'd like to know also how many fence and deck permits we've had, because I've seen a lot of people taking some time to build new fences and decks in the last couple months. Yeah, that's the development is happening though, right, Steve? We have hang on, Linda's sharing something. There we go. Price Chopper has made some headway. White Iron Ridge and Porter's have all done quite a bit. I think Jack, KCIRB Storage started any additional buildings?
They have a foundation in for one. They're not quite ready because they're finishing up their water line work for their fire loop tomorrow. They should be opening the first one shortly.
Do you foresee any planning and zoning items for June?
Yes, 3 items currently.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Jack. Just curious on any of the medical marijuana facilities or anything like that. Do you have any statuses on how those are shaping up?
The dispensary is under construction on the inside of their building, rehabbing it. And the manufacturing and cultivation facilities are still in design. It's been about 3.5 weeks since I've had a question and contacts from them about their building design.
Any other questions from the board? All right, we'll move on to the city administrator's report. Ms. Wagner, you provide your report, please.
A few updates as you all are aware, related to COVID-19. City Hall does remain closed to the public. We are available via phone and email from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are bringing more staff on board, but we do also stagger staff so that we are practicing social distancing and utilizing work from home capacity where possible. We have installed a Ring doorbell at the front, so if individuals do come, they are able to interact with staff, and if there is a need to talk in person to someone, we do have face masks available. We will continue monitoring the Clay County Health Department phasing information and their recommendations. I think it's entirely possible that we may continue this practice till close to June 1, depending upon the number of cases and how things look there. We have a few park amenities that we have opened back up. The park's trails remain open. Tennis and pickleball courts did open, and the skate park did open earlier this week. With occupancy restrictions and concerns with regard to high-touch facilities, our playgrounds, shelters, and restrooms, as well as basketball courts and ball field reservations, remain closed. We aren't opening Smith Sport Campground until June 1, and that's consistent with Clay County Parks and Recreation. We do anticipate that the next Board of Alderman meeting will be after the June election. We're looking at June 16th for that. And we would anticipate that to be conducted via Zoom, predominantly because if that's in anticipation of approval of an item in the agenda later, the renovation of the City Hall meeting room, and it would be under construction at that point in time. We had initially anticipated meeting at the Smithville Senior Center. However, that would potentially constrict ability to do social distancing. So we anticipate another Zoom meeting in June. There are a number of items in the city administrator's report related to items that Chuck outlined in the work session related to construction standards, water line replacement, Mark grant funding opportunities. He's moving forward on on a number of items, and we hope to have information later this year on any grant funding that he's applied for. And we do anticipate implementation of the development standards that have been advertised. East Main Street waterline replacement did begin this week, and we did have full road closure yesterday. We don't anticipate that occurring throughout the project. The comprehensive plan has taken a turn in a different direction based on social distancing and inability to meet in large groups. We had anticipated real intensive work in mid-March. The consultants working with staff have kind of turned that process around a bit, and they are taking information from the strategic planning process, as well as information gleaned in the initial kickoff meeting, comprehensive planning process, and survey information to start developing draft chapters of the comprehensive plan for public feedback and input in a process that will determine, we'll have something over the summer. Jack and I continue meetings with the consultants on that. we had initially anticipated that document coming to the board for adoption this fall, probably in September. That has been pushed back a month or so based on delays because of COVID. And then I have one additional announcement. As you all will recall, in March, Matt Denton was promoted to our Public Works, sorry, Chuck, our Parks and Recreation Director position. And we did conduct a recruitment process and have identified a candidate to fill Matt's former position of Recreation and Marketing Manager. Brittany Probst will begin later this month with us, and look forward to her really contributing to our marketing and recreation services. With that, I stand for any questions.
Thank you. And if the board members haven't looked up our new Parks and Rec marketing manager's resume, it's pretty impressive. I know when I talked to Matt, he said that she had left, I think, Excelsior Springs to go to the private sector, and her boss was really trying to pull her back over there. So glad we got that position filled. Do we have any open staff positions right now?
At this point in time, we have one police officer position.
Okay.
And Chuck, do we still have? Yeah, I'm sorry. We have one position in streets.
Is the police department still able to conduct interviews with the restrictions, or?
We've been going through, and Chief, correct me here, we've talked about, and I think we had planned to do some testing using physical distancing when they do that, and limiting the numbers. I know we had talked about doing that. Chief, if you could provide an update on that. You're either, you may be muted, Chief. No, we can't hear you.
Get a magic marker and some poster board.
Yeah, or I'll tell you what, he can text me the information. I'll provide you that by the end of the meeting. How about that?
Awesome. Any other questions for Cynthia before we move on to the agenda? I did have one question on the election, and Reddick is back. We'll have some, we definitely have, Alderman Hulbert would be his last, I guess if we don't have a meeting until the election, that would be his last meeting. How would we handle that transition with new members coming in? And so would he just start the meeting with us, John? You're on mute, by the way.
Yeah, John, you have to unmute.
All right, how do I unmute?
There you go. We can hear you now.
All right, thank you. You serve until your successor has been sworn in, and so we'll get the certified election results. And at that point, the new alderperson would be able to be sworn in, but your current alderpersons will serve until their successors sworn in.
So we just swear in through Zoom, or do we need to take him outside in a park behind city?
Actually, in today's world, you actually can swear them in on Zoom. So yeah, so long as whoever is going to do the swearing in actually sees who they're administering the oath to. So yes, it can be done on Zoom.
And we do have there's 4 of us that would total be sworn in. We might be able to accommodate it somehow as well, but yeah, we've got some space around City Hall. Okay, so that's good.
And Mayor, I do have the information from the chief with regard to the police. They have conducted written tests, and they've conducted Zoom interviews, and are in the process now of background checks on one candidate.
Okay, sounds good. Probably from Savannah, Missouri as well.
Probably. I think we've pillaged from Savannah about as much as we can.
Okay. First item on the agenda is number 7. Bill number 2858-20. Do I have a motion to approve? Whoever waves fastest.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve bill number 2850-20, rezoning Herzog Foundation Emergency Ordinance, first reading.
2858, correct?
2858.
Alderman Holbert
Second the motion?
for the first reading. Thank you. Any questions or discussion on the first reading? Okay. Clerk, please call a roll.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Sarver,
Aye.
Alderwoman Wilson,
She's muted.
Alderwoman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Blumker,
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier,
Aye.
Alderman Hurlbert,
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries for the first reading. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
Sorry, that's one thing I didn't have in front of me. One moment.
364 days to go.
I know. Only- And sorry, it's an ordinance changing the zoning classifications or districts of certain lands located in the city of Smithville, Missouri, and entering into a development agreement.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the second reading? Alderman Holbert,
I move to approve bill number 2858-20 for second reading by title only.
thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I didn't comment on the first go round. I'm excited to welcome this great foundation and the work that they're doing. I think this is a great addition to our city and excited to see them select Smithville in that location.
Thank you. I agree. Do we have a motion and a second, correct?
Yes.
Any other discussion? Okay, clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Blumker,
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier,
Aye.
Alderman Hurlbert,
Aye.
Alderwoman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Sarver,
Aye.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance changing the zoning classifications or districts of certain lands located in the city of Smithville, Missouri, and entering into a development agreement.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda. Hey, it's all resolutions from here on out. How about that? Number 8, resolution 778 and 779.
We have to do those separate? You have to do those separate?
No, we don't have to do those separate.
Motion to approve resolution 778 and 779, traffic safety grant application.
you.
Second.
Lynn, did you get both of those?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving resolutions 778 and 779, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is number 9, resolution 780. Alderman Chevalier,
Thank you. I move to approve resolution 780, bid number 20-05, City Hall improvements.
thank you. Second,
Second.
Brother Marv, thank you. Alderman Atkins, seconded. Any discussion? I don't know if Cynthia was gonna bring this up or not, but we may see this item on the agenda again later with some additional improvements on a later item that we're gonna discuss. So don't be surprised if we see some additional city hall improvements coming up later. All those in favor of approving resolution 780, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is resolution 781. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve resolution 781.
You do have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving resolution 781, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, resolution 782, leak adjustment. Anyone raising their hand? I don't see any.
I move to approve resolution 782, leak adjustment.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Second. Third.
Who is the second?
Alderman Hurlbert.
All right, thanks. Thank you. All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving resolution 782, say aye.
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 Say no. Motion carries. Next item is number 12, resolution 783.
I move to approve resolution 783, authorization number 91, Highland Sanitary Sewer.
Thank you.
Nice. Second the motion.
Thank you. Discussion? I'm sure we have a little.
Okay, I went
No.
over it in the work
Yeah.
session.
Yeah, I went over in the work session. I echo Chuck's sentiments exactly. These folks should have a proper sewer system. It's not their fault that they don't have that. And I just feel like that, it's something the city should be providing for them. So I'm in favor of this for sure.
For extending the line and deeper manhole.
Correct. Yeah.
Was that the one that was about $200,000?
Yeah, that'd be about 200,000 of city expense.
Okay, I would support that one. I agree from our previous discussion.
Yeah, I think it takes the burden off the homeowner substantially. Them trying to divide up 300,000. If we're doing I think we're doing the right thing by getting that extended and allowing them to connect into it at their time that's convenient to them. So,
Mhm.
Chuck, anything to add?
We'll follow up, Mayor, on any information or contact you have for any kind of grant opportunities, and I'll get with HDR and we'll revise the scope that is in the current authorization. It should go down a little bit. So, but by your approving this resolution, we'll be able to start that design, and hopefully this fall we'll be able to get that resolved.
Chuck, when you first said you were thinking about this on your drive from Lawrence, I was trying to figure out if you're going to do pay toilets or not, since you have to drive that toll road. But I guess we'll keep those over in Europe.
And Mayor, if I might, we will also, the residents that are affected were notified of this meeting tonight, and we will follow up and let them know that this is what we'll be doing, to inform them that we will be making replacements to that main. If there are issues in the future with their service lines, they would be responsible for any repairs there.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor of approving resolution 783, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is resolution 784.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution 784, the final plat for the Herzog Foundation.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor of approving resolution 784, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Hopefully they'll get some construction going soon. We've been working on this project for a while. We haven't really been able to talk about it a lot in public, but I think it's a great thing for our community, like Alderman Blunker said earlier and Alderman Wilson. This is gonna bring some jobs to Smithville and a beautiful building. So next item is Resolution 785.
I move to approve Resolution 785, acknowledgement of the emergency purchase.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
Thank you. It was Alderman Atkins, correct?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving Resolution 785, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Man, I have a stack of papers to sign tonight. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 786.
I move to approve Resolution 786, authorizing and directing the mayor to approve payment to Ace Pipe Cleaning in an amount of $14,405 for cleaning debris out of the wet well of the influent pump station, and to Sunbelt Rentals in an amount of $6,645.90 for bypass pumping.
Thank you. Do you have a second? Chevalier, you look like you were getting ready to raise your hand.
Second.
Alderman Sarver, seconded.
Okay. All those in favor, or any discussion on 786? All those in favor of approving Resolution 786, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 787. Alderman Chevalier.
I'm-
Hello, I would like to approve Resolution 787, the Farmers Market MOU.
Thank you. Alderwoman Wilson.
Second.
Thank you. Just so you guys know, I've talked to the farmers market organizers. They're going to take extra precautions to make sure they are not putting in as many people this year. They're going to, we're going to continue to leave the picnic tables out of the park through the summer, I believe. So we're going to take extra precautions, but we also make sure people have access to food as needed. So any other discussion on the farmers market MOU? All those in favor of approving Resolution 787, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 788.
I move to approve Resolution 788, the temporary waiver of the application of delinquent charges and discontinuation of water service.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Do we need to have an amendment on this to get it to June 30th?
Linda?
No, Dan has already updated the resolution, and the mayor will sign it tonight from the
For
work
clarification,
session. Yes.
sorry, that for the clarification, that reflects the discussion at work session to continue to waive that through June,
Now,
through July.
and you guys are going to be in contact with anyone who's past due to, if they need to do any kind of payment arrangements. We're going to take a proactive approach on that.
That is correct.
Awesome.
Correct. I do have one clarification, though. It was through June 30th was the discussion, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's the way it reads.
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving Resolution 788, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. All right, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 789.
I move to approve Resolution 789, the distribution of CARES Act funding from Clay County, Missouri.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Alderman Chevalier.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mayor, if I may, just to clarify a couple of things. We have indication from the county that that amount distributed to us would be about $945,400 as outlined in the memo. We are, as staff, reviewing possible funding opportunities there. And we'll bring information to the board in a June work session for discussion. As is outlined in the information attached, we need to commit those funds by October 1st or remit those back to the county. CARES funds have to be expended before the end of this fiscal year, or excuse me, before the end of this calendar year, December 31st. So the county has moved that up a little bit to ensure that all of the funding within the county is spent. I am reaching out to the ambulance district because they're not included. They're included in funding under the CARES Act. They don't have a special funding allocation. So I'll reach out to them, and we will also look at economic development pieces, perhaps related to business grants. And we'll have a recommendation for the board in June, as I had indicated.
Sounds good. After we get a little more put together on this, I'll try to put together a small committee for, or maybe make it part of finance committee to make sure we review this stuff, and you guys can move as fast as possible on these as well. I want to thank Cynthia, you and the rest of the staff that's been working on this. I know working with the county is not the easiest thing to do. I know I've fielded a ton of phone calls on this item myself over the last couple of weeks. Not very pleasant phone calls. And you know, I want to thank this board and staff for the professionalism you bring to the office and your jobs, because if you watched any of those Clay County meetings, it's kind of embarrassing. So any other discussion on this item?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a few comments on this if I can.
Go for it. The floor is yours.
First, I want to echo your thoughts. I want to thank this body for the respect which we show one another. Even when we disagree, we do so in a respectful fashion and understand the principled stance which each member brings to their office. This extends to the staff as well, who's both professional and respectful of our work. This body exhibits the professionalism worthy of elected officials in our fine city. Having said that, I echo your thoughts. I was greatly troubled by what I heard in the Clay County debate around the CARES Funding Act. I'm greatly concerned about the level of mistrust of municipalities and the role that we play in responding to the unique needs of the cities we serve. We're in the midst of a pandemic that knows no political boundaries or whose timing is set by political bodies. And for the county to artificially create timelines and restrictions when we don't yet know the timing of this pandemic or the true needs of our municipalities is foolhardy. Just today, Kansas City was named as an area that a hot spot to watch. I'm dumbfounded by the comments and mistrust I heard from the county debate and won't even begin to comment on their own continued dysfunction. I believe that creating these additional requirements and artificial timelines for the sake of politics is misguided and dangerous, and therefore I'm going to be voting no on this measure. It's my hope the county leadership will find time to visit our municipalities across Clay County and maybe pick up on some ideas on how to be transparent, fiscally responsible, and responsive to their constituents. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments or discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving resolution 789, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no.
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 Sounded like 4-2 to me.
That's what I have. Am I wrong?
3-3.
3-3. Mayor, you need to break the tire.
You know, Alderman Blumker echoed a lot of my thoughts over these last few days, and the phone calls I've had with the, you know, the distrust by our county officials and our offices and our staff. And, you know, I know we'll prove them wrong because we do things the right way here. We are responsible with our money. We're transparent with our meetings. But I want to ensure that we get this funding so we can make sure that we have what we need to be able to move forward. So I'll vote yes on this so we can get this approved and get it taken care of. So that's a yes for me. The motion carries. Next, public comment. Clerk, did we get anything?
I had one gentleman that was gonna comment on the Highland if he got off work and could get in, but he said he didn't really know if he wanted to say anything, but he was gonna watch the meeting. So I'm guessing since he didn't get into the meeting that he's probably watching.
Okay, well, hopefully he'll reach out to us if there's any other questions or comments on that one.
I also gave him Chuck's information if he had questions that Chuck could help him with.
I don't even have Chuck's cell phone number. You guys all the way from Lawrence. I was hoping you'd bring me some breakfast someday, but anyway. All right, new business from the floor. All right, next we need to make an appointment. We've had an opening on the Parks Board for a little while. Parks Board hasn't really met much. We've you know, just like the other boards, we've canceled meetings. We're really going to have to lean on the Parks Board a lot if we get our ballot measure passed, and probably just as much if our ballot measure does not pass, because we need to really look at our priorities. So I'm going to appoint Todd Fleischman to fill the vacancy. Is this a full term, Linda? I don't think it is.
Yeah, he's filling a vacancy.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that he will take the full 3 years.
Cool. Okie dokie. So any questions about Todd? I know he's coached in Parks and Rec. He interviewed with I think with Alderman Wilson, maybe. Any questions or comments? All right, clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Blumker,
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier,
Aye.
Alderman Hurlbert,
Aye.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Sarver,
Aye.
Alderwoman Wilson,
Aye.
6-0.
All right, Todd is now appointed to the Parks Board. Before we adjourn, as stated before, we probably won't have another meeting until after the election. Thank you all for all that you've done. Thank you for allowing us to get through all this without having a lot of drama or, you know, issues that we've seen in some other board meetings. If we do need to have a meeting before then, if anything comes up, we'll use Zoom as well. But just thank you all. Appreciate everything you all are doing. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Come on, Josh, you got to say no at least once, man. Come on. Your last meeting.
Not today.
Not today. You want to keep it going forever? Okay. All right. Well, we stand adjourned. Thank you all. Have a good night.